Okay, so today we're working on a project. The ignition switch does not crank over the vehicle, and this is due to a little aluminum rod. I think it's the actuator, but it's right here. You can see there's the aluminum rod right there. It goes up to your key cylinder, and when you turn the cylinder, that pushes forward to make your vehicle start. If you're in this predicament right now, you can actually use a pair of pliers. Take off this little cover piece here. There are 2 bolts or screws that will be on this plate, and then it will drop down. So you take those needle nose pliers I told you to grab. Go ahead, grab that and push it straight out with your key on, and your vehicle will start. But we're going to go show you how to take off your steering wheel and get to that part so you can be on the road in no time. We're going to start with the bolts underneath the wheel. You're going to take those off. They're a T-bit. I don't know what size yet, but I'll tell you. And then you're going to go ahead and work this steering wheel cover off. I'll have to put the camera down. A little tricky, but I got it. Just a few snaps in there, so you got to pull pretty hard. Then you're going to undo the wires, and then you're going to separate your horn switch from your steering wheel. Go ahead, remove these wires. Here's the hot wires, there's the ground. Go ahead, remove those. Pulling from the base so you don't damage the wire. And then we're going to get this nut off right there, and then we're going to have to get the steering wheel puller tool out to pull the wheel off, and then only a few more steps and we'll be at our broken part. So I got the cover off. That whole black thing comes with it. Those are the connector pieces. This is the ground that went inside the hole you actually used to pull the steering wheel off. So we're going to find out what size bolt this is, get that off, and find our steering wheel puller tool and have this wheel off. 24 millimeter socket to get this bolt off. Mine was really tight on there. I did use the breaker bar a little bit, but I don't think I really needed it. Alright, so now is the part people freak out about, but it's really not going to be that hard. I'm going to try to see if I have a puller tool that will work. The puller tool, you screw in 2 bolts there, and then it pushes on that to pull the wheel off. So we're going to go ahead and see if we got a puller tool here. Okay, so I took the wheel off. This is pretty simple, self-explanatory. You put 1 bolt, screwed in there, you tighten the main one, it will pull off the wheel. I forgot to film a little bit, but I'll show you what I did. There are 2 screws right there, and that other white one right there. Kind of hard to see, let me focus in. Right there. You'll take those out and then wiggle your switch mechanism out. Make sure you unscrew the blinker switch handle right there. Pull that to the side. Then you'll have 3 bolts or 3 screws on the top there, side here, and bottom left there, and then this black cylinder piece will pull off. You can now see that my lock actuator is broke right there. It's broke off, and I do have the new one, and we're gonna get this changed and see how much longer it takes me. But I charged it. I did work on it a little bit, and I will catch you up. And I pulled the old one out, the old piece. Broke in 2 spots. Really easy to get out. I'll leave a link in the description below to another video I watched, but this will help you a little better see on how to get it out. The pin originally went through that hole, and then this little guy catches on top of it, but we'll get back to that. But to fit the new one in right here, you can't just place it in there. It will not fit. There's no way to work around there. So you actually got to take out these 2 pins right there. There's one, you got to punch that out, and there's one on the other side too you got to punch out. And we're just going to take a punch them out, and then pull the whole center column out a little bit so we can wiggle this in there. Alright, so there are these little pins I told you to take out. Now they're a little tricky, so what I did, I pulled the snap ring back a little bit, and I pushed this inner rod inwards, so it'll make your steering shaft go in, and then you can just pull it back later. And it will give you enough room right here. You can see this little hump here. Won't let you get a pin through it if you don't pull it back a little bit. So this will make it easier to get to the pin to drive the little suckers out, because those were pretty hard to get out. Okay, so I slid the pin in there. You really want to be careful with the spring mechanism, because what you do is you let this lock ring, you pull the lock ring out towards you, right? And you start moving this back and forth after you punched out these pins. And you really want to be careful, because this spring right here controls the tilts on this vehicle. And if you let it go too far back, it will spring out, and it is a hassle to swing it back in place, fighting that spring while trying to mess with the lock pin and putting these two bolts in. But I got it back together, so if it happened to me, I couldn't film it, but it could happen to you. It's not too bad, but let's get going to this. We just got to put this arm back in the hole on top of there, and then put my pin through the top there, and then manage to work this thing, the arm, back on the key cylinder here. I could show you right there. It goes in there, and we should be set to go, and then put it all back together. Should be good as new. Pins are in, as I said before, but that little stock pin that they give you is really hard to get back in place. I recommend what I did. For you, it will be way easier than putting the normal pin in. Go ahead and put a castle nut retainer on there, and then you should be able to bend that around and make it all good. All right, so I got it all put all back together. Works fine. Just reverse the steps. You'll know how to do it. It's easy. Got to just screw in the cover plate, and I will be taking it for a test run. But it's fired up, working. You can do it yourself. Save a lot of money. Bye.